this for I'm like, my phone's dying, but I think it'll be all right. Okay. I can't see okay. The All You Missing was first, although it doesn't really matter. I have to remember where I'm looking in the cameras here. Aw, you miss him? Yeah, you miss your little liar? You miss laying in bed next to someone who lied to your face, cuddling your little gaslighter while they clutch their phone in their sleep. His phone, aka his girl texting device, because that's what it was, right? If that's what you miss, cute. Text him then, go ahead. In fact, he probably won't even notice that you texted him. It'll get lost in the sea of messages from other girls. That felt really mean. I'm sorry. I love you guys, but I need to get your attention. I'm not going to be that mean for the rest of this episode. I am going to hold your hand, I promise. Give it to me. If you've ever broken no contact, texted your ex, reached out, only to immediately feel absolutely filled with self-hate, shame, you're sick to your stomach, you want to throw your phone in the ocean, this episode is for you. Welcome to Don't Think. This is the podcast for anyone who feels like they just need a break from their own brain. I'm your host, Carla Bazanson, and I'm no stranger to the pain of heartbreak, yearning. I'm a huge yearner, not to be confused with a huge learner. I almost never learn, especially when it comes to men and relationships. But today we're talking about the distinct and special cruel pain of missing people who we can't be with. So this could be for any reason. Maybe we can't be with them because they treat us like absolute shit. Maybe we can't be with them because all of our friends and family hate them because they treat us like shit. Or maybe they just don't love us anymore. Maybe they left us for somebody else. Whatever the reason is, we're talking about the feeling of missing somebody you can't see, you can't speak to, you can't be with. So this episode, it's not just about breakups. It's breakups, it's breakdowns, and a little bit of breakthroughs as well. We'll get there at the end. So whether you're currently in a relationship that maybe you're thinking you want to leave, but you're not sure how to do it, you don't have the courage to do it yet, or maybe you're going through a breakup or you've went through one recently and, you're still struggling with that. Or even if you're happily married, but you dated some huge losers in the past, this is going to hit home for you. If you've never been heartbroken, then maybe just leave us alone. Let us have this episode as our one thing. You can just go do whatever people who have never been heartbroken do, like play with butterflies or some shit. So I did an interview for the podcast the other day and I was asked, what is the one piece of advice that I would give somebody who's going through heartbreak right now? And my first thought was, why would I be qualified to give advice on that? And then I was like, oh, could it by any chance be the super public heartbreak I went through in January of 2025, where I cried on the internet every day for a month straight? Could it be that? Perhaps. When I was asked this question, it made me time travel back to where I was 6 months ago in January, February of 2025. Also, by the way, no thank you. You couldn't pay me literally $1 million to relive January through March of 2025. Not $1 million USD, especially not if it was Canadian. Fuck that. But seriously, I'd say keep your money, double it, triple it, give it to the next person. Where I was 6 months ago, it was low, okay? I'm talking Ativan for breakfast, lunch, dinner. I'm talking beer bottles in the sink. I'm talking my family and friends taking shifts at the depression factory, aka my apartment, to make sure that I didn't do something unfavorable. The most heartbroken I've ever been. And when I say that, you have to understand that I've been heartbroken a lot of times, okay? More than the average person by a landslide, I would say. And I'm not sure if that's due to my inability to process abandonment issues, or maybe it's my terrible decision making when it comes to men. It could be, I'm willing to consider it could be the fact that I'm inherently unlovable. I don't know. There's a few reasons that are up in the air. But upon being asked the one piece of advice I'd give someone who's going through heartbreak, I'm trying to answer this question. I'm thinking about what would I have wanted to hear when I was in that really bad place. And the truth is, I did hear a lot of things from a lot of very wise and caring people None of it mattered. None of it even scratched the fucking surface of making me feel better. The only thing that would have made me feel better in those moments would have been hearing from my ex. It's like the only thing that would make me feel better from the poison would be drinking a little more poison, right? Actually, this was kind of a sick joke of an experience. So I'm like 2-3 weeks into my no contact after my breakup. It's like, January of 2025, okay? My mom's over. She's taking her shift at the DF, the Depression Factory. And I'm like probably crying into her lap, maybe blowing my nose into her jeans, something like that. She's probably like trying to force feed me my one grape of the day because, I'm refusing to eat. I'm on a hunger strike, being heartbroken. There's a knock at the door. My first thought, oh my God, he's flown here to win me back. So we were long distance. And I'm thinking that's him. Negative. Obviously, it was not him. Second thought, he sent me flowers to apologize. Bingo. And also not bingo. So I opened the door, big, beautiful bouquets, fresh arrangement. And I'm thinking, please let it be from him. But I'm also thinking there's absolutely no way. Okay, this man's never sent me flowers in all of our time together. He's not really a flowers guy. He's more of a text a bunch of girls behind your back guy. So sure enough, I open the card and my hands are shaking. Okay, knees weak. My mom's like, oh my fucking God, this girl. I open the card. It simply says, we'll call him Chad. It says, love, Chad. Oh my God. What? I'm literally in shock. I'm thinking this is a prank. Okay, that's my first thought because we haven't spoken. He was actively ignoring my attempts to reach out, which is so pathetic on my part. He dumps me in the most brutal way, and I'm trying to somehow swindle him into asking for me back, and it's not working. I'm like, this is a prank. And my mom's sitting there watching this go down. She's like, Carla, throw them out. He was so awful to you. And I'm like, Mom, this bouquet is beautiful. Okay. In this economy, it's really lightening the mood in my depression department. Also unrelated, but in addition to that, I love him. So I call the flower store because I'm like, I got to get to the bottom of this. And I'm like, I need the name and the phone number of the person who sent this because the name's not enough. The prankster obviously knows what name to use, but they wouldn't have his phone number. Sure enough, it is his phone number. So then my next thought is, okay, well, when did he send them? Because we haven't spoken in 2 weeks. Maybe it was right after the breakup. He was going to apologize. Oh, no. This gets so much better. He ordered them a week before Christmas as a Christmas gift. So actually, they let me know that I'm going to receive a fresh arrangement every week for all of 2025 as one of my Christmas gifts from my sweet, sweet boy. So yeah, that was horrible. It was actually a sick joke because, well, it's not what I was wanting it to have been, his attempt to reach out, and it was really just a stab in the gut. And I did, in fact, if you're wondering, tell them I don't want the deliveries. I was like, refund him or send me a check, actually. That would be best. But I canceled them. And sometimes I do think you know what? Was that the right thing to do? But in the moment it was. So that's all to say. It's a gut-wrenching feeling when you're missing someone you know is bad for you. You're sitting there, you're waiting for their text, you're waiting for their knock at the door or the bouquet of flowers. It's not coming. And it's really complex because missing somebody, it's something we can't control. I mean, to a degree, right? Sometimes if we're creeping their Instagram relentlessly, if we're sleeping in their sweater that still smells like them. I've never done that except for I've done it a couple times. I do hate, though, when people are throw out everything he gave you. And I'm like, the Balenciaga boots didn't personally do anything to me. So I will be I like the shit that he gave me. This is separate from that. But I did listen to a Mel Robbins podcast, and she said, it's not necessarily reasonable to expect somebody to throw everything out, but maybe put it in a box and put it away for a bit, because every time you see those things, it reminds you of them. It makes you miss them even more. It just sets you right back. So we do have a bit of control. We shouldn't enable ourselves to miss somebody if we're really trying to move on. But if we are doing all of the right things in terms of, trying to remove a person from our lives, trying to move forward, and we still miss them, that's something we can't control. And I want you to say it with me. If we can't control it, we shouldn't beat ourselves up for it. But we obviously will, because we have anxiety and, imposter syndrome and all of that. But the guilt and the shame that you feel about this is so real. It's that feeling of like, I hate him or I hate what he did to me, but I miss him so much. And that was my reality. It was, I hate the way he treated me. I resent him. I had cut off contact entirely, and I felt I was doing everything right, but still deeply missing somebody, still not over it, and still thinking about it all the time. And it made me feel broken. It makes you feel like you're healing in the wrong way. And sometimes it causes such an unbearable desire and yearning that it truly feels like you're a drug addict. Like you just need to get well. I just got to send him that text. I just got to get my fix. I promise it's just one more hit, please. I remember vividly one instance of feeling this way. I was flying to Charleston. Supposed to be a fun getaway with a friend, right? And I'm on the plane, and it was in February, so I hadn't seen my ex in, 6 to 7 weeks. We hadn't been speaking. And I'm on the flight. I'm listening actually to that Mel Robbins podcast episode. She did an episode with her daughter who had gone through a really difficult breakup about going no contact and how productive that can be and how difficult these breakups are. And I'm listening to this because I'm just so desperate to do literally anything to make me feel better, anything to prevent me from reaching out to him. And it truly felt impossible. I remember crying on the flight because I'm so frustrated. I'm like, why? Is my friend in a couple rows back just excited to go on this trip, and I'm just sitting there engulfed in this? It's my entire world. I felt like it owned me. It was all I could think about. It was everything and everywhere. And I just remember the guy next to me on the plane. He's sending emails. He's reading a magazine. I'm like, fuck you and your magazine. How could you? He's working on a project. I'm like, how could you work on a project at a time like this? I'm legitimately dying one seat over from you. Any chance? What's going on? But that's how it feels. Everybody else around you, they're just living their lives, right? And they have no idea that you're carrying this incredible weight and heavy burden, and nothing's enjoyable. And it feels like there's nothing you can do about it. It really does feel hopeless. And I just wanted to text them to try to get some relief, but I didn't that particular time. The thing is, when you do text your little liar, your little gaslighter, your little cheater, when you do, cave or give in and break no contact, the second you do it, it almost never feels good, right? And if it does, it's literally maybe 30 seconds of this fleeting high, and then you're like, oh, fuck. It's like post-nut clarity. It's like post-ex text clarity. Oh my God, my family would be so ashamed of me. My friends and family would be so ashamed. I'm like, God is watching. I'm not religious, but God's watching. It's never satisfying. All of the work you did, all of the suffering, all of the yearning and the resisting and the crying on the plane next to the man doing the project, it all feels like it was absolutely for nothing. It feels like you have to start over. But resisting it's so hard that sometimes you trip and you fall and you start over. And I tried to gaslight myself out of it too. I'd be like, no, I don't miss him. I just miss having someone. I just miss not being alone. Somewhat true. Honestly, that is somewhat true. But I also did miss him. And it makes you wonder, why the hell do I miss my little cheater, my little liar? Why do I miss somebody who treated me poorly, who lied to me, who wronged me, who hurt me so deeply? Someone who oftentimes there were more bad memories with than good. And we tend to romanticize things, especially in hindsight, right? It's a selective recall where when we're looking back on things, you remember the good and you tend to leave out the bad. You miss the laughter. You miss the guy that brought you coffee in bed every morning, even if he was fucking the waitress from your favorite restaurant every night. It's the duality of it. It's, love in life is not that easy. It's not that straightforward. Imagine if it were that easy. Well, we broke up. He hurt me. So I no longer care for him. I no longer have feelings for him. I no longer have love for the good parts of him. No, if it was that simple, we would literally be robots. And this is no shade to robots. I love you, ChatGPT. That's the ghostwriter of my podcast. Wrote this episode. I've actually never been heartbroken. I just got ChatGPT to make it all up. Missing someone doesn't mean you should be with them. I know. But I said it. I said I'd hold your hand, so give me your hand. Missing someone doesn't mean you should be with them. It just means you're human. Every time you miss him and you resist him, you're teaching your brain You can live without your little liar. And that's the real fix. I'd love to sit here and like preach this and tell you guys that I, learned this the easy way, but I did not. Okay. I went back so many times. I truly started to believe I would never be able to walk away from this man and from this situation, which was not healthy for me. And it's like that saying, but would you keep going back and touching a hot stove after it already burned you once? And I'm like, yes, I certainly would. Did you guys? That's my stove. I love that stove. This stove swore it would change. Yes, it did burn me a few times, but it said it wouldn't burn me anymore. Right? But eventually you realize like, oh, wait, it's a stove. All it knows how to do is burn. I can't change that. So the onus at that point, it's not even on the stove anymore. It's on me. So I would leave every time I swore it was the last time, the last burn. And it never was until one day it was. It was the last time. And the waves of like the missing and the yearning and the wanting to text them, they became less intense. They became fewer and farther in between until they became so seldom that days would go by and I wouldn't think about it at all. And when the thoughts did come, it wasn't like, oh my God, I need him back. I can't live without him. It was like maybe, yes, a little bit of nostalgia, about the good memories. But mostly it was just being grateful to no longer be in that situation and to have removed myself enough from it to actually get some peace, which you can't do if you don't resist the urge. So if you think you'll never move on, if you're in that place right now, I guess it's not advice, but what I will say is you will move on because life will happen to you and life forces you to move on. You'll meet somebody new or you'll get a promotion and move and you'll be so distracted by that you won't care about him anymore. Or maybe he'll get engaged to his ex who he swore he would never speak to again. And you'll be so baffled and turned off that you'll genuinely be like, I'm done with that guy. I'm done with that stove. Let him burn somebody else. But you will stop missing him. Not all at once. And it won't be in some big dramatic before and after moment. You won't wake up one day and be like, oh my God, I'm healed. But it's more like a bruise that's, fading away until one day you just realize it's gone. It's not there anymore. And maybe now and then something will remind you of them. Maybe it's like a stupid joke that only the two of you found funny. And it won't knock the wind out of you anymore. It'll be bearable. You'll be like, oh, well, yeah, that was a funny thing my little liar used to say. He was a funny liar. And maybe that's not even missing them, right? Maybe that's just being human because people that we loved or people that we had connections with leave impressions on us that maybe they never fully go away. The difference is that over time, they stop hurting and aching. They're just these faint impressions or memories, right? Proof that you lived, proof that you cared and that you were open enough, or maybe in my personal circumstances, stupid enough to let that person matter. So the pain softens, the urgency sort of fades, and what's left is just memory, not longing. So if you're still in the longing, I promise you, you will get there. That was starting to feel a little preachy towards the end. Watch me like literally text my ex tonight. I'm like, you know what? Actually, I'm not done. But I know I'm not the only one who's done this and who's gone through this and felt this way. And so for this week's Don't Think Deep Dive, I asked you guys to send me your stories about breaking no contact. And specifically, I said, give me a story of a time someone did you absolutely dirty, filthy, and you still broke out, or you still broke no contact or texted them and said I miss us. So let's get into the Don't Think Deep Dive and hear from you guys. First, we're going to hear from Cora.
Hey, so I have a really crazy story. Almost everybody in my life knows this because, hey, it's insane. Basically, my ex, he consistently threw dead fish at my house. He'd stand at the front of my driveway and throw it. They'd hit the garage. They'd still be alive. I live in the woods. Animals would get a hold of them. It would be a mess by the morning. And then he TP'd me, tried to drive me off the road. There was a whole police, file opened on it. But then, yeah, we dated for another 4 months because he came back and said, I'm sorry. And I said, okay. Because I'm stupid. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed my story. Thank you.
How do they literally always know just what to say? I'm sorry. It's like, okay, you know what? I can forgive the dead fish. I can forgive you trying to run me off the road. No, I've heard a lot of things and I've seen a lot of things, but I've never I've never seen that. Running you off the road, that's pretty bad, but dead fish is unforgivable. That's disgusting. No, that is a joke. I must clarify because it's all awful. But, I mean, I forgave a guy who dumped me 10 minutes before New Year's Eve, left me alone in a random city to fend for myself. I forgave him. In fact, I think I asked for him back. So I do get it. But, wow, I need to make a specific, like, oh, you miss him? You miss your little fish thrower? That's crazy. I feel you, Cora. Okay. Let's hear from, this is anonymous, so we know it's going to be a good one.
I dated a guy who told me that he sold weed, and it turns out that he actually sold every drug ever. And he also threw a 35-pound steel weight plate at my head while I was walking out of his front door, and his neighbors called the cops on him, and I still texted him being like, I miss us, LOL.
Aw, you miss your little steel weight thrower? What is with guys throwing things at women? I don't know if I like this, but what I will say is that as women, we do insist on being attracted to drug dealers. Everyone has had a crush on a drug dealer at one point in their life, and if you haven't yet, no, it's coming. You better get ready. But these are all really great inspo for TikTok content. Like, I'm going to have to make an, oh, you miss him? You miss having a steel weight thrown at you? Oh, yeah, you should text him. You really, really shouldn't. Please don't. Okay, let's hear from Catherine.
So I had this ex who cheated on me by literally going on a vacation with another girl. That vacation girl becomes his girlfriend. 3 months later, he reaches out to apologize. We met up and had a whole, conversation, like a clarity, close the chapter type of conversation. Keeps trying to reach out to me to reconnect things. I'm like, no, you have a girlfriend. That's creepy, etc. I ended up breaking no contact after 2 months and asked them how work was. One thing led to another. He said that relationship was over. We dated for another month and a half, on and off, casually, of course. And yeah, it turns out he was with her the whole time, and he was only reaching out to me when they got into a fight. I only found out because she got chlamydia and texted me to let me know that he may have given it to me or I gave it to him. Got tested, didn't have it, thankfully. Sent her my results to prove that he is a cheating, lying sack of shit. Me and her became friends. So, yeah, I guess silver lining, she was totally cool. Glad she reached out. Yeah.
I love when a friendship blooms because of a guy making two women connect over how terrible he is. That is just that's magic. I had a boyfriend who also cheated by going on a trip with someone else. And I'm sure a lot of other ways as well. But I also forgave him. Why are we like this? I don't get it. Also, I wonder how many women he gave chlamydia to. Like, how many people find out their partner is cheating on them because they, for some reason, end up getting an STI test and are just absolutely flabbergasted when it comes back positive. And they're like, but I didn't sleep with anyone but my sweet, loyal husband or my sweet, loyal wife. It's like, well, that's never happened to me yet. That's one that I haven't dealt with. That would be a really shitty way to find out because it's like, A, you have chlamydia. B, you're with a little liar, a little cheater. It's a lot to process all at once. Okay, let's hear from Tasha.
So you want stories about breaking no contact? I certainly have one for you. I dated a guy on and off for 13 years. He was absolutely a narcissistic sociopath. When I found out he was cheating on me for the umpteenth time, I bugged out and may or may not have keyed his car in good old traditional girl boss fashion. Well, I definitely had to face the repercussions of that, and I was arrested and charged with felony vandalism. And they issued a no contact order from the police. But this man still proceeded to call me every day, all the time, at work, on my cell phone from different numbers. And he caught me at work one night from an unknown number and convinced me to meet up with him. So I did. And I made him promise me that he would get all the charges dropped and that I would speak to him again, but only if and when that happened. But when I tell you I broke no contact, I literally parked in a parking lot like almost half a mile away from where our meeting spot was and walked through a hiking trail in the woods to meet him at a hiking spot we used to go to. End of story. He did get the charges dropped, so it did work, but do not recommend. 10 out of 10.
Okay, the way that we will act so out of character when we're beaten down, I've done it. I mean, no, I haven't keyed a car, but I've had my moments. I'm just assuming that's out of character for you and that you're not going around keying cars on a regular basis. But honestly, this is the only breaking no contact that I approve of because it's breaking no contact with a purpose, right? This is for you, girl. You're benefiting from this. Yeah, you get those charges dropped, girl. Don't love the meeting in the woods. That's feeling unsafe. That's not giving safety. I don't love that. But you know what? You did what you had to do. You got the charges dropped. You lived to tell the tale. So good for you, Tasha. Okay, let's hear from Louise.
My estranged husband had a 4-year long sort of sex worker dalliance that he lied about repeatedly, even when I told him to tell me the truth and he would probably get away with it. He lied for like 10 months, finally admitted to everything, and during that time blamed my mental health for the reason why he was continually using sex workers and lying about it. And then not only did I tell him that I missed him, I also sent him a message saying that I felt that I should have listened to him more and that would have made it better.
Oh, no. Okay, first of all, I'm triggered because there's nothing worse than when a man or a woman, whoever, somebody uses or like weaponizes your mental health against you. I just think that's truly the lowest thing a person can do is like take somebody's vulnerabilities that they share in confidence that they're already probably insecure about and then throw it in their face or use it as an excuse for their own poor behavior. So I'm really glad that we don't miss him anymore because he sucks, Louise. It in every single way, it sounds like, truly. Okay, let's hear from one more. This is from Melanie.
I walked in on him and what is the 5th girl that he has cheated on me with having sex in what used to be our bed in our bedroom. And we are spending all of this weekend together. Why am I this way?
Oh, what a note to end on. You know what they say, 6 times the charm. The 6th time and you're going to be like, I am tired of letting this fucking stove burn me. But you got to get there, right? You got to get there. So have a great weekend on that note with him. I hope Monday comes around and you're like, you know what? I think I'm going to move on. I'm going to close that chapter. Hopefully you don't get chlamydia. But if you do, you can't say you didn't see it coming. Anyway, so on that closing note, miss your little liar, miss your little cheater, Miss your little steel weight thrower all you want. But remember, missing doesn't need to mean texting. Missing doesn't need to mean going back. Missing doesn't need to mean spending the weekend together after you just walked in on him cheating for the 5th time in your bed that you share. Sorry for throwing shade at you, Melanie. And every time you don't text, you're choosing you. That's how you heal. That is how you actually move on, is one ignored urge at a time. So instead of texting your ex, send this episode to your friends. They'll be proud. They'll be happy. I'll be happy. I'm kidding. I'm never happy. But your friends will be proud. They'll be like, look at this growth instead of going back. Everybody wins. So if you did enjoy the show, or you feel even slightly better, or even if you don't feel better at all but you laughed, please do follow, rate, review, leave a review of the episode. Make sure to follow me on Instagram as well, at Carla Bazanson, so that you can participate in the Don't Think Deep Dive. I promise I won't roast you. That was a one-time. I don't promise that. I might. Depends on what you're sharing, you guys. But please do follow me so that you can participate in that and send in your questions, your comments, and your thoughts. And that's it for today. See you next Thursday. I love you guys. Oh my God, some of those are crazy.